gamers. Welcome back to EPG-Every Platform Gamer, the channel where we cover gaming news and do deep dives across PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, all of it. This is our deep dive for Splatoon 3, so let's smash our way through. When Splatoon first launched in 2015, it felt like a bold experiment, a third-person shooter with no guns, no grim realism, and no interest in following genre convention. Instead, it presented players with paint guns, neon colours, and an entirely new philosophy built around control rather than combat. By the time Splatoon 3 arrived in 2022, that experiment had evolved into one of Nintendo's strongest modern franchises, and now, with years of update, a major DLC expansion, and a powerful Switch 2 upgrade, Splatoon 3 stands in 2026 as both a culmination of everything the series has done and a foundation for where it's headed next. At its heart, Splatoon 3 rejects traditional shooter design. Instead of focusing on kill-death ratios, it prioritizes territorial dominance, requiring players to spread ink across the environment to win matches. This fundamentally changes how players approach gameplay. Success isn't just about aiming, it's about positioning, movement strategy, map awareness, and resource management of ink. Because your ink is both your weapon and your movement system, each action has layered consequences. A poorly placed push can leave you without escape routes, while a well-timed flank through inked paths can completely turn a match. Splatoon 3 expands the arsenal significantly, giving players a wide array of weapons that aren't just cosmetic but deeply alter playstyle. Shooters provide balanced mid-range combat, rollers and brushes allow fast territory control and ambush tactics. Chargers, which is a sniper style, reward precision and positioning. Spartana-type blades and unconventional weapons introduce hybrid melee range strategy. Each weapon is paired with sub-weapons and specials, encouraging players to experiment and find combinations that suit their approach. This creates an ecosystem where no single strategy dominates completely. Success depends on adaptability. While mechanically refined, Splatoon 3 is undeniably iterative. It improves movement fluidity, input responsiveness, and matchmaking systems. However, compared to the leap from Splatoon 1 to 2, this entry feels like a refinement of excellence rather than a reinvention of ideas. The gameplay isn't revolutionary, but it doesn't need to be. It perfects one of the most original gameplay loops ever created, resulting in an experience that remains unmatched in the genre. Splatoon 3's campaign, Return of the Mammalians, goes far beyond a simple tutorial. Each level feels like a self-contained design experiment, combining platforming, combat puzzles, and skill-based traversal challenges. The game constantly introduces new mechanics, such as moving platforms, ink rails, or environmental hazards, ensuring that no two missions feel repetitive. The Splatoon universe is surprisingly deep. On the surface, it's colourful and playful, but beneath that lies a strange post-apocalyptic setting where humanity has long disappeared, replaced by evolved marine life. Splatoon 3 leans into themes like evolution and identity, societal chaos versus order, cultural expression through fashion, music, and individuality. The tone shifts between humorous and unsettling, giving the story a unique emotional range rarely seen in Nintendo titles. The single-player mode serves multiple purposes. It teaches mechanics in a controlled environment, it allows players to experiment without pressure, and it adds narrative depth to the world. Far from being filler, the campaign is a thoughtfully designed experience that strengthens both gameplay, understanding, and emotional engagement. Turf War remains the most iconic mode because it lowers the barrier to entry. Even if players struggled in combat, they can still meaningfully contribute to covering territory. This creates a rare environment for a shooter. Beginners actually feel useful, and experts still have room for high-level play. For competitive players, Anarchy Battles produce structured, objective-based modes that require coordination, skill, and precision. These modes deepen gameplay by introducing defined objectives, strategic positioning, and team synergy. Salmon Run offers a completely different experience, focusing on PvE survival. Here, players fight waves of enemies and manage limited resources. They also coordinate closely as a team. At higher difficulty levels, the mode becomes chaotic and demanding, testing teamwork more than any PvP mode. Splatfest remains central to the Splatoon identity, acting as a large-scale community event. The introduction of 3 team battles and tricolour turf war significantly changes the dynamic, making matches feel less predictable and more event-driven. Multiplayer in Splatoon 3 isn't just a mode, it's an evolving ecosystem that keeps players engaged for years. Splatoon 3 embraces a theme of chaos, reflected in every aspect of its design. The world feels lived in, and it's unpredictable and expressive. From graffiti-covered environments to eclectic fashion choices, the game prioritizes individuality and expression. Splatsville, the central hub, tells its own story, a mix of architectural styles, signs of decay and rebuilding, cultural influences from previous games. This reinforces the idea that Splatoon's world evolves alongside its players. Few games achieve this level of artistic cohesion, where every design decision reinforces the game's identity. Splatoon's music isn't background filler, it's part of the world's culture. Tracks vary across battles, story segments and social hubs. Each setting has its own distinct energy, enhancing immersion. In concept of fictional bands performing the music strengthens the illusion that Splatoon is a living world with its own culture. The soundtrack mixes genres in unexpected ways, creating something that feels completely unique. Music adapts to gameplay, heightening tension during matches and reinforcing atmosphere during exploration. Splatoon's soundtrack is one of the strongest examples of music-driven world-building in gaming. An original Switch Splatoon 3 already pushed the hardware. Bright and crisp visuals with stable performance. On the Switch 2, with the upgrade, it completely transforms the presentation. We get 4K resolution when docked, and it adds clarity and detail and looks incredible. We get a consistent 60 FPS, which ensures smooth gameplay across all modes. Improved animations make the world feel more alive than ever, and reduced load times improves the user experience. Higher performance isn't just visual, it affects reaction times and precision shooting. Overall responsiveness feels amazing, and you have to play at 60 FPS to believe it, and you'll never go back. The upgrade doesn't change the game's design, but it significantly enhances the experience. The Inkopolis hub serves mainly as a cosmetic addition. While enjoyable, its purpose is primarily world expansion and fan service. The side order introduces a roguelite system, fundamentally changing how players engage with Splatoon. Instead of fixed levels, players experience procedurally structured challenges, risk-reward progression, and long-term upgrades. The story explores philosophical ideas about control and freedom and artificial systems, adding a darker, more introspective tone. Replayability is excellent too, because runs are different each time. The mode offers significantly more replay value than traditional campaigns. The side order is one of the most experimental and important additions to the franchise. The original Splatoon was a risk created by a younger Nintendo team seeking fresh ideas. It succeeded by breaking genre norms and prioritizing creativity over realism. Each sequel built upon the last. Splatoon 2 expanded online features. Splatoon 3 refined mechanics and added depth. The series has grown into competitive gaming events, music performances and multimedia content. Splatoon represents Nintendo at its most experimental, combining gameplay and art and culture into a cohesive identity. Few franchises evolve so naturally while maintaining a strong core identity. Splatoon Raiders represents a major shift towards single-player storytelling and exploration. This suggests Nintendo is expanding beyond multiplayer dominance, experimenting with genre diversity. The franchise appears to be evolving into a broader universe. Multiple gameplay styles with deeper lore and expanded world building should mean that Splatoon Raiders will be another hit. Splatoon's future looks more diverse and ambitious than ever. Splatoon 3 is not defined by dramatic change, but by refinement, identity and longevity. It represents the peak of its core gameplay design, a bold artistic vision, a franchise willing to experiment and grow. Overall, we loved our time with Splatoon 3, and we are so hyped for the new game, which comes out soon. Are you looking forward to playing Splatoon Raiders? Did you enjoy Splatoon 3? Or how about Splatoon 2 or the original on the Wii U? you. Like, comment and subscribe. And remember, game anywhere and everywhere.